All right, we are officially recording, and it is 9:26 in the year of our Lord 2022. It's about 6:03 p.m. And this is our uh, ITT class. And hold on, because somebody forgot to plug in their laptop, and he better do that now before it dies. And down I go. Okay, I am so glad I got that on recording too, because that's so awesome. All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys. We're going to go over as much as we can here. How many people here have experience in the Microsoft Office? You know, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. So Autumn does. Anybody else?
I'm just experimental. I just get on there and I just whatever I figure it out.
Well, that's good enough. That's basically what you learn. And Stacy does too, Jasmine. So this is for just about everybody. It looks like this is not going to be something fresh. Although Microsoft 2003, you're about like Office 2003. Yeah, I think that wasn't that didn't they use an abacus or something back then? I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't laugh because I'm much older than just about everybody in here, which I don't know when that happened. So okay, so this is not new for anybody. We should be able to get through this with the least amount of pain. Definitely gonna share my screen. And I know Stacy does, because Stacy has to use it every day. She is our HR person, so that is awesome. And she's awesome. So and I'm not saying that just because she's HR and she holds my life in her hands. I'm saying that because I truly mean it. So this is information technology and trends 2022. Now, the first thing that Victor wanted to know was, where's the book? So if you have a problem finding something, modules is a place to start here in Canvas. And if you scroll down, it's kind of hidden right here. Here's the book. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it, which always gives us another link, and it should take you right into it. If you have any issues with that, let me know. So this is what it should look like when it comes up. Now, this book is showing us Office 2016 and Windows 10. I know some of us are using Windows 11. I am. I don't know about anybody else, but I don't think that's going to be the important part. In the Office between 2016 and Office 365, of whatever we're using now, is not that much different. Okay, and honestly, Taylor, it's probably similar enough to 2003 that if you were serious, that you can dumb around on it and get it going. Okay, I have somebody else pop up here. That Taisha, one of my favorite people of all time. And that sounded sarcastic, but it wasn't. As you guys know, I'm running on very little sleep, and so I may be a little scattered here, but we'll get through this. We're going to do Office, excuse me, geez, we're going to do Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. That should get us where we need to go. No, I don't know anybody that uses Microsoft Access anymore. I know it's still out there. There are other database programs that are much better and much easier to use, and that you can get already set up depending on what you need them for. So, And the deal with the Office is, as everybody should know, once you understand one suite like Word, you can transfer a lot of that to Excel and PowerPoint. You know, all the tabs are the same. A lot of the most of the commands are the same. Everything's very similar. So you're just not going into something different every single time. I'm a big Excel guy. I do a lot of stuff on Excel, probably when I don't have to. So that's where, you know, I'm going to get all excited and geeked out when we do Excel. So let me see, where are we at here? So here's our book. Victor, you know where to get to it now?
Yes.
Okay. Now also, let me go back to our homepage here. Just quick, and just about everybody, is this anybody's first class? I think it's Diamonds. I know it's not Taisha's, Brent, Linda, Autumn, is it yours?
It's my first class on this go around, but about a year and a half ago, about 2 years ago, I guess, I finished up the paralegal course. So
okay,
now I'm doing this part.
So you were in the paralegal under Ruth, weren't you?
Actually, Charity did everything.
Charity did everything. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I took a 4-year hiatus between, you know, being here and then coming back. So but it's definitely not the same place. I mean, it is, but it's not. COVID took a big changed everything, and that's not just, you know, CCC. That's everywhere. COVID changed the entire world to where, you know, we when I was here before, we had quite a few on ground classes that we would teach daily. I don't have any on ground classes anymore, and because we just can't fill them. Everybody's used to doing this. So I'm going to assume that since we can get this done, that everybody here has some sort of, you know, technical ability, you know, able to work a computer, you know, turn it on, turn it off, navigate the internet. So we're going to kind of just skip straight into Word here real quick. Now, I have this set up where if you want to, you can click on here or here to get into the Zoom class. There's our syllabus. There are, so if you want to see the syllabus, it's right here. If you want to go to course expectations, it's right here. There's not a whole lot that, I mean, I'd look it over, but there's not a whole lot of information that you know, you probably don't already know. Now, there are some programs here like BibMe, Citation Machine. There's also one called CiteMe. CiteMe has a nice little add-on to your browser. And so if you need to cite something in your work, you just plug in the information and it turns into a citation. So that's always good. Who we have it? Joy's there she is. All right. Also, if you need to get a hold of me, there's all my information right here. My office phone. This is a text and phone number. You can always get a hold of me there. The best way usually is email. I'm only in the office part-time, so if you were to call me on like a Thursday, I may not even see the message till Monday. So that doesn't help. So I say email, and also if it becomes something you really need to answer to, you know, shoot me a text or call on here. Here's my room. If you ever want to come see me, just let me know and I'll make sure I'm there. And the same thing with tutoring. We can tutor anyway. If you want to come to the office, if you want to do it over video, if you want to do it over phone, just let me know and we can make that happen as well. All right, so since this is some people's first time or returning first time, been out for a couple of years, which isn't too. Oh, and Facebook, forgot about Facebook. If you want to friend me on Facebook, this page is dedicated totally to community care. In fact, I hardly ever get on it, but you know, it's nice to show up with, you know, people think you have friends. All these are here as well. Now, there's a couple of things I put on these pages. First one is the 21 tips for online courses. This is an article I found a few months ago. And I know we don't like to read these articles, but and this is mostly things we already know. Let's just be honest. But it's put in a format to where, you know, we actually see them and think about them. I think Victor's seen these before, so has Belinda, Taisha. We go through this every single time, Taylor. And it goes all the way from set major goals. I always tell the story of my friend Clint, that I graduated high school with. When it comes to treat studying like a job, he went to work for the Fort Worth Fire Department, and he's a captain now. And believe it or not, captains in a big fire department like that, they make bank. That is, I wish I'd have worked in the civil service at some point. But every time he has an exam to study for to get a promotion, on his days off, he sits down and he puts himself on a schedule, and he treats it like it's his job. And he's been fairly successful doing that, you know, all the way to study plan, managing time carefully. Time management is pretty important, guys. Most of us are terrible at it. I'm not the best. I have to really sit down and, you know, schedule myself. I have to make myself manage my time, and I think that's how most people are. Not that you're horrible at it, but you have to make yourself manage your time, because it's so easy to do, you know, find other things to do. You know, if you ever work from home, you've got, it's really difficult, because you're sitting here, you're thinking, wow, you know, I probably need to unload the dishes out of the dishwasher, and you know, wow, I heard the dryer go off. I could use a peanut butter sandwich. The dog needs pets, you know, whatever, cats, whatever you have. And so it's easy to get distracted. And so you have to put that, and the way you do that, study blocks. Okay. And on here somewhere, you look at study blocks, eliminate distractions, limit social media, of course, and break down tasks I like, and making study enjoyable, take breaks. Really, guys, you only have limited amount of time you can sit in front of this computer and concentrate on this work. So, and the way I usually do it is, so somewhere on here it says, reward yourself. That's the one. So what I do is, I do it, mine is, a lot of people do it on a time limit. You know, hey, I'm gonna study for the next, do my whatever for the next 20 minutes, and I'm gonna take a 10-minute break. You know, go have a Reese's cup, and then, you know, play on Facebook for a minute. I do mine task specific. So I'm gonna give myself a task I want to complete before I can have the break. So I'm gonna do this thing right here in front of me. When that's done, then I'm gonna take my break. Excuse me. It's, you know, independent of everybody. So long story short, look at this. This kind of puts it in a format where, like I said, it kind of draws everything you already know together, you know, and kind of puts it in your face, like limit social media. So if you're going to be on Facebook, then you make sure you do it during your break times, or some other time. It's easy to fall in the Facebook hole, or the YouTube hole, or the TikTok hole. And the next thing you know, it's an hour later and you haven't got anything done. So, and about that time, the kids come home from school, and then you got to get everything ready, and boom, you already burn up all your homework and study time. And I am not pointing fingers at anybody, back at myself, because that is all from experience. You know, And know yourself, know your weaknesses, know your strengths, and play to them. Also, one of the my favorite things on here is there's a video we're going to watch. It's less than 5 minutes. A lot of you have already seen it. Some of you haven't. This is one of my favorite, from my favorite academics, favorite lecturer, and favorite authors. His name is Jordan Peterson. He is a clinical psychologist that teaches at the University of Toronto. Really popular guy, kind of a really divisive figure politically, but that's not what this is about. This is just his part of his lecture on here's why it's so hard to sit down and get work done. It gives us an explanation of why. It doesn't give us any answers. It doesn't tell us how to get past that. I think that's, many times every individual is different. There's no cookie cutter way to get past it, but this does kind of give you a real good idea of why we are the way we are. So, and it's short. We'll skip the ad, unmute, and
your
full screen.
attention, for example, is mediated by unconscious forces. And you know that perfectly well. And this is another Freudian observation. If you're sitting down to study, for example, your conscious intent is to study, but you know perfectly well that all sorts of distraction fantasies are going to enter the theater of your imagination non-stop and annoyingly, and there isn't really a lot you can do about that except maybe wait it out. So you'll be sitting there reading and your attention will flicker away. You'll think about, I don't know, maybe you want to watch Jane the Virgin on Netflix or something like that, or maybe it's time to have a peanut butter sandwich, or you should get the dust bunnies out from underneath the bed, or it's time to go outside and have a cigarette, or maybe it's time for a cup of coffee, or it's like all these subsystems in you that would like something aren't very happy just to sit there while you read this thing that you're actually bored by, and so they pop up and try to take control of your perceptions and your actions non-stop. Maybe you think, well, this is a stupid course anyways, why do I have to read this damn paper, and what am I doing in university, and what's the point of life? It's like you can really get going if you're trying to avoid doing your homework, and then you might think, well, what is it in you that's trying to avoid? Because after all, you took the damn course and you told yourself to sit down. Why don't you listen? Well, because you're a mess. That's basically why. You haven't got control over yourself at all. And no more than I have control over this laptop. Okay, so there's the memory function of the unconscious, and there's the dissolutive function. That's an interesting one. The unconscious contains habits, once voluntary, now automatized, and dissociated elements of the personality, which may lead a parasitic existence. That's an interesting one. I would relate that more to procedural memory. So what you've done is practice certain habits, whatever they might be. Let's call them bad habits. And you like those things to get under control, but you can't. So maybe when you're speaking, for example, you use like and and you say a lot. And you've practiced that, so you're really good at it. And you'd like to stop it, but you don't get to, because you've built that little machine right into your being, right? It's neurologically wired, and it's not under conscious control. And anything you practice becomes that. It becomes part of you, and that's another element of the unconscious, a different part. And then there's a creative part, which is that, well, you're sitting around and maybe you're trying to write something, or maybe you want to produce a piece of art or a piece of music, or maybe you're just laying in bed dreaming and you have all these weird ideas, and especially in dreams, it's like, where do those things come from? And even more strange, one of the things that's really weird about dreams, and almost impossibly weird, is that you're an observer in the dream. It's like a dream is something that happens to you. Well, you're dreaming it, theoretically, so how is it that you can be an observer? It's almost like you're watching a video game or a movie, but you're producing it, at least in principle, although the psychoanalysts would say, well, no, not exactly. Your ego isn't producing it. Your unconscious is producing it. It's a different thing. It's a different thing. And of course, Jung would say, well, it's deeper than that. The collective unconscious might be producing it. It's, in some sense, it isn't you exactly, or it isn't the you that you think of when you think of you. And that's the ego from the Freudian perspective, the you that you identify with. That's the ego. And outside of that is the unconscious. The id that's more the place of impulses, and you could think about those as the biological subsystems that can derail your thinking, right? And that govern things like hunger and sex and aggression and your basic instincts is another way of putting it. And it's a reasonable way of thinking about it, because these are subsystems that you share with animals. You share them certainly with mammals, you share most of them with reptiles, you share a lot of them with amphibians, and even going all the way down to crustaceans there's commonality, for example, in the dominance hierarchy circuits. And so these are very, very old things, and the idea that you're in control of them is, well, you're not exactly in control of them. And I would say the less integrated you are, the less you're in control of them, and the more they're in control of you. And that can get really out of hand, you know. You can be like with people who have obsessive compulsive disorder, for example, which seems to be, I would say, the dissolutive elements in some sense of the unconscious, the way that it's portrayed here. Poor people with obsessive compulsive disorder, they can spend half their time doing things that they can't really control, and they have very strong impulses to do them, and it's very hard on them to block them, you know. They'll almost panic if those things are blocked. And then you have people with Tourette's syndrome, you know, that they'll be doing all sorts of weird dances and spouting off obscenities and imitating people without being able to control it, and sometimes a little bit of antipsychotic medication can dampen that down, but it's as if there are these autonomous semi-spirits inside of them that grip control over their behavior and make them do things. And you know, you find that to some degree in your own life, because maybe you've become very attracted to someone, even maybe you don't want to be attracted to the person, and then you find yourself, you know, texting them when you know perfectly well that you should be going to bed, and you know, you're in a grip of something, and you can't control it, and that's all part of the unconscious and all part of what Freud was studying.
So the fun thing with the serpent is, how does a serpent talk?
All right. So anyway, that I just like that, because that gives us kind of a little bit of insight on why we are the way we are. You know, and I think, you know, he didn't really get into it, but why, you know, you can't really force yourself to be creative. Oh, I see Belinda said, word of advice, always have a backup plan if your computer ever goes out. Poor Belinda, she has been suffering for a month when her Microsoft tablet went out, and then she had to try to send in to get it fixed, and then find somebody to fix it and do it. Well, we've talked about this over and over, and I just, you know, I feel terrible. I think she ended up going out and spending, you know, an inordinate amount of money on her own device just so she could get through. And that's, you know, that's not the preferred method. But do have a backup plan. I know I kind of got sidetracked here, but do have a backup plan, because these classes are only 4 weeks, guys, and so we are in and out quickly, and these classes end as quickly as they begin, and you end up in the next one, and you wonder where the month went, what happened, and you know. So, and also one of those things you talk about habits, saying like and you know, mine is, you know, I'm trying to break myself of that. It's add to it as well. So have a backup plan. I know some people, there's a couple of people I know that prefer to do it on their phone. I can't imagine that. In fact, I don't even like using a tablet. I'm a laptop guy, you know, so I'd rather have my laptop with the keys and a big screen. I have my secondary monitor over here, and I'm all set up to do whatever work I need. So however you're comfortable is however you're comfortable, and make it a good, productive space and a pleasant space. You don't want to be, you know, sitting here making yourself miserable. But where I was going is, many times when you're trying to be creative and you're trying to force yourself into that box, and you're trying to put yourself in that box, I'm going to write this paper, I'm going to do this discussion, okay, and then you sit there and you stare at it because you have no idea, okay. And then you have, you know, you're laying in bed about to fall asleep, you have a brilliant idea, or you're in the shower and you have a brilliant idea. And that's how creativity works. I don't think you can force yourself to be creative for most of us, because truly creative people are rare. You know, artists, musicians, people who write, paint, create, compose music. Those people are rare. And so, the rest of us are kind of stuck, in some limbo of creativity that goes from, pretty creative all the way down to can't, do it, have no creativity at all. So, it's, again. Well, it's really hard to get this done. So play to whatever strengths you have. And I did mention, and I'm gonna sidetrack here again with Belinda. It's not fun trying to play catch up, trying to work full time, being a mom with the kids in a 4-week period. You get the same amount of classes in the same time if you were in a traditional college. Most classes are 16 weeks, and you take a minimum of 4 classes or more, depending on how you want to do it. Here, it's just 1 class per month. It's just we're jamming a lot of information to a 4-week period, and I don't mind it. I like it, but at the same time, it can become really hectic. And if you do get behind, you don't have another, 8 weeks to get caught up. You've got a week and a half. And they say, you spend an entire weekend on your desk in front of your computer. That's a new thing. Won't even ask. Computer, trying to get work done, and it just becomes brutal to you. Joyce says, side note, creative mind thinking here. I missed the first 10 minutes. Is your room you're using Diagon Alley? Just curious. Looks like the wand shop. Yes, it is the wand shop. It is Ollivander's. And if you want to know what kind of nerd I am, we can just go. Where's it at? I found my camera. There it is. Deathly Hallows. So yeah, if you ever stop by my office, Stacy can attest to this. There is so much nerd fandom in there. It's like walking into, I don't know. She says so much. There's Star Wars, there's Harry Potter, there's Doctor Who, there's X-Files. So you name it, it's in there. And I got and my Yoda runs around with his lightsaber on the floor and does cool stuff. So if you ever want to see that, you're more than welcome. And also my wand they bought me for Christmas. They bought me a wand for Christmas. And I guess the family took kind of a poll on which wand they should get me. So which wizard I was most like. And I don't know if Joyce appreciate this, but I ended up with a Mad Eye Moody wand. Not sure what they were trying to tell me, if I'm just a grumpy old jerk or what. God, he's gorgeous. So this is where we're at. And I also have the room of requirements in here somewhere. And just a question for Joyce, or anybody wants to chime in real quick. What's your house? What's your Hogwarts house, Joyce? Don't say Gryffindor. Don't say Gryffindor. Ah, that's what my wife's a Gryffindor, so I always tell her that she's just basic, just a basic Gryffindor. But that's okay. All right, so let's try to get, so I don't get distracted again off on Harry Potter, because we could do 4 weeks on that and I'd never get done. We've gone through our book. Discussions. People usually avoid these at all costs. It is worth, let me make sure should be worth 25% of your grade. Hopefully nobody's turned anything in yet. Nope. Although I saw Victor went ahead and knocked it out. That's the way to do it, Victor. Just get on it. And then, and the other problem is, if you don't do yours on time, then people don't have any peer replies they can do, because there's not, they're stuck with 1 or 2 people trying to figure out if they want to reply to that or not. The more people you have do them, the better the peer replies look. And I like that. So if we move all the way across here, okay, your online classroom, your participation and attendance is worth 10%. Okay, so it's not gonna kill you unless you're on the edge of a grade. Okay, and if you miss too much class and you're at like an 88, and you just needed a few more points and you missed it here, you're going to kind of kick yourself in the rear. Or if you're, in the D or C level, this could save you. Discussions are 25% of your grade. So theoretically, you could lose 3 letter grades by not doing those discussions. And like I said, people tend to avoid those at all costs. Please, please, please don't. I think I usually send out half a dozen emails every class, and I put it in big caps and underline it and bold it. You have not done your discussions. Do your discussions. Okay. Why be satisfied with a 70 when you could have a 95?
It's easy points. That's what I don't get. It's the easiest way to make some points right there.
A lot of people have a hard time expressing themselves, knowing other people are going to be reading it and judging it and replying to it. I think that's where that comes out. But no, it's like when you're out of shape and going into the gym, nobody's going to look at you and say, why is that fatso in the gym? No, they're going to say, good for you. You're out here putting in the effort. And the same thing when you write your discussions. Nobody's going to look at you and go, what kind of dummy is that? They're going to go, good for them. They're in here getting their education just like the rest of us. So don't be self-conscious. So I think we've covered that. So we have our first discussion here. Oh, there's Victor. There is a article right here. This was article from, it was been updated just a few days ago, 8 days ago. So that's not too bad. They say reading time is 6 minutes. The way I usually, if I really want to get into something, I read it over real quick so I kind of get the gist of it, and then I'll go back and I'll read it again in depth, and then I'll take my notes on what I want to do and what I want to write on. In some of these cloud computing, this recording is going to go straight to the cloud in Zoom. I'll download it tomorrow. I'll put it in YouTube so everybody can get to it, because every once in a while they make us delete videos out of our Zoom because there's so many people using, even though it's a big account. I think the other day we got an email that said, please delete any videos you can. We're at like 98% capacity. So I'll move those over to YouTube and delete them off Zoom where they're not even an issue. Mobile apps is a big thing. So whatever you're going to write on here, big data analytics, data mining, people selling your data, that's a big deal. And I don't know where people fall on it, but that's that double-edged sword once again. I don't mind some of my information being out there because I'm struggling here. I'm trying to work this out as I talk. It makes me a better consumer. They're targeting me for things I want to buy and I like to look at and see. Okay, and I've noticed that and you can go as far as I'll look up something on Google, and then when I go to Facebook, there's an ad for something really similar. So if I'm looking up car parts on Google, next thing you know, car parts are on here. If I'm looking at Harry Potter stuff is on Facebook. And so, and it happens very quickly. But on the other hand, you don't want too much information running around, people buying it. So, but like I said, I don't mind being targeted by marketing to a certain degree, because if I'm interested in looking for parts for my Alpha, then I don't mind that, and I'm not having to dig through ads on, I can't think of anything that's Doesn't sound misogynistic. So just pick your poison on that. Automation. If I have time, we can look at a video. The world's largest car plant. So I'm a car guy. World's largest car plant is the Volkswagen plant in Germany, and their automation is extraordinary. And I believe they turn out a car every 10 or 12 seconds. A car leaves that facility. So, and it's all done with automation, and they can run these cars through their factory, and each car, one after the other, can be painted a different color without having to do anything. The machines do it all. They change the color. They dip it in a solution that changes the electrical charge in the metal, so all the paint goes to the metal and sticks to it. All this fantastic stuff. So I may send it to you guys if I get a chance, and you can watch it on your own time. But it's really excellent. Smart technology, VR. Does anybody have an Oculus? Anybody doing the VR thing? No. Oh, you're missing out, guys. My wife got me one, and talking about burning some time. I spend way too much time on Beat Saber at night. So we got virtual reality, augmented reality. That's where they take virtual reality and mix it in with real reality. Is that a thing? Taisha, get your 8-year-old that VR. No, maybe not. You may never get him off it. Joyce had an old school one of the first ones. That's cool. I don't know which one I have. I said she bought it for me about, what is this, 4 or 5 months ago. So I'm sure, it's fairly the new version. But it's fun. I have a Star Wars game where you actually get to have a lightsaber fight with Darth Vader. What else do you need? You could use the Force. It's pretty awesome. And blockchain data that goes with crypto coins, cryptocurrency. I don't know if anybody ever delves into cryptocurrency. That's a fun thing. So just look through this and see what you want to write up, because the basic instructions here are read the following article, and then pick out something you want to write about and do a response on it, or do a quick discussion on it. I have not read yours yet, Victor. I'm sorry, and I'll
Oh, you're
look at
fine.
it. And I'm trying to get to a point where I'm going to do the discussions along with you guys to kind of help out. I'm having a hard time getting there. My schedule the last few weeks has been crazy. I know, my mom's been in the hospital. I've been running to Missouri and trying to work and take care of her and help my brother out, sister-in-law out. So it's last couple of weeks has been really crazy. So, and sometimes you'll see, like when I'm in Missouri and I was there this weekend, I had work to do. She lives out in the sticks. She doesn't have good internet yet, although they're supposed to get it out next month sometime. It's supposed to drop fiber. And so I have to leave her house, drive 10 miles down the road to the nearest McDonald's and use their Wi-Fi. So there'll be some times where, you may not get an answer from me till the next day, because I've already left McDonald's or they've kicked me out because I've been there for 6 hours and only, had 1 cup of coffee. So I say first things first, get that
Supposed
done.
to have a cup of coffee every hour.
Is that what it is? Actually, I drank I had a sweet tea last time, and I don't know, it was special there because it was like super good. So I had like 10 glasses. It was incredible. I'll never get it that good again.
There's a lady who comes up to the bar I work at Hard Rock. There's a lady who comes up to the bar who sits there and does her work up there and gets one drink, but she sips on that drink for about 4 hours just so she
Nice.
could use her Wi-Fi.
Nice. Well, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? All right, now on our assignments 1-1, is that right? I'm sorry, it's assignment 1-2. Did I stop that? I thought I had it pulled up. Well, I do not. So let's just go back here. Your first thing under assignments here that's due is, there it is, your calendar planning assignment. This is not that bad. If you go ahead and where it says download the calendar, it should pop up like this. And then there's your download button there, so you can actually put it down here. Download, click on it. It'll open up with Word, which is doing on this screen instead of the other one. So I'll pull it over. All right, and this is just to kind of plan your week out. Okay, time, your live class on Monday. You plan on doing anything else here? What do you plan on doing Tuesday? What time? You have assignments due at 11:59 on Wednesday. So all that stuff should go into here. It shouldn't take you very long, but it should be a good way to help plan yourself, create those study blocks that we talked about earlier. Because if you find yourself in that terrible position of trying to get caught up, which Belinda talked about earlier, what she say, playing catch up is what she said. It is, once you get behind, it is really hard to get caught up. So try your best. Life happens. All right. Life happens. I wasn't going to call you out. I wasn't going to call you out, Taisha, but you know, you did it yourself. But if you're going to try to cram all this work into a short period of time, do it the first 2 weeks. Don't wait till the last week and a half. Okay. You know, so take the hit now so you can cruise through the last couple of weeks. And like I said, we know life happens. Kids get sick, you know, car problems at work, having to work extra hours. Your mother gets sick and has to spend a week in the hospital, and you have to go up there and sit with her half the time and try to work at the same time. We get all that. And that brings me to the communication aspect. If you have an issue, I will do my best to work with you, but you have to let me know. Okay. I had somebody in one of the last classes, once again, not gonna call anybody out, but I'll say they, so you won't even know if it's a male or female. They couldn't figure out how to get on WebAssign. And so they waited a week and a half before they even sent it in. They struggled until they had to come to me. Don't do that. If you got an issue, you can't, you know, you feel like you spent way too much time on it already, let's work it out. Because we can hop on a Zoom meeting at any time and help you figure it out. You got to hit it before you type in and hit enable editing. Now let's look at mostly what you're going to use here. Okay. Go ahead. You're muted, Victor. You were unmuted a while ago. I think you muted yourself. Try to talk.
I don't know what happened. My screen went black.
Can you see now?
Yes.
Okay. A lot of this stuff right here. Here's all your text stuff. So let's say we have our live class here it is 6 p.m., right? And go up here and play with all this stuff. You can make it bold. You can underline it, italicize it. Stop it now. You can change the size. You can change the font. Really easy stuff to do. Play around in this, and it shouldn't be that hard, especially most everybody here. I think there's a few people who didn't say, Victor, Victor, you talked about it. Does anybody not have any experience in Microsoft Office that we may need to do some extra training down the road? Glenda says communication is key. Don't wait till the last minute to learn that firsthand. Yep. And I know I was picking on Taisha a little bit, but she's really good at asking for help. Okay. Asking for help is not a weakness. Okay? It is one of those things that everybody needs help every once in a while. And we're not the place where when I was going to OSU there in Stillwater, the professors, they were zero help. Absolutely no help. If you show up their office looking for help, they look at you like you had two heads. Why are you here? Why are you bothering me? Figure it out. We don't do that here. We're a little bit more hands-on, and I like to help. So if you have any questions on any of this stuff, just let me know. As your layout, your design, you can draw. Okay, you can, and there, on one of these here, you're going to be inserting a table, and let's kind of go to that real quick. Minimize. I'll get that out of my way. Let's see, remember which assignment it is. Okay, well, assignment 1-1, create a resume. Hopefully everybody has a resume of sorts. Okay, kind of already figured out. So just polish it up. Let's see. And if you don't have one, then let's go back to Word here. Then a good place to start here. I went to File, take me over here, start a new one, and then you can search for templates online. And it's not like back in the old days where you had, we used to have what they call a resume assistant, that they kind of walked you through it. So I typed in resume. If you look, there are all sorts that you can download here, all sorts of designs, all sorts of formats, and that it's part of a personal preference. And it also depends on how much experience you have. I know most people say your resume should be no more than 1 page, but the caveat I always use is somebody who has looked at a lot of resumes in his time is try to keep it to 1 page unless you can't, unless your experience and education and things are broad enough and wide enough that, and the things you need to accentuate in the job may take up 2 pages. Okay, that's fine. But, just be aware that if you put too much in there, okay, it's not, she said it's not considered plagiarism, right, to reuse the same resume used for a past assignment once out. If would I even known if you wouldn't have told me? If I had to do it, I would not go and recreate my resume from scratch. I would pull up an old one. Work smart, not hard. And then I would polish it up, update it. I like to see it updated. I don't want to see the last thing you had on there from 2016. Okay. Maybe from 2020 because of COVID again. A lot of people got to sit at home. I didn't, but a lot of people did. So let's pull up just a common one here, impact resume. You'll say it says create. It's going to download the template. It's going to bring it up for you. And you just start filling in the blanks here. So Okay, points will be recorded a number of mistakes made in the document. Okay. Line, paragraph alignment, header functions, page numbers, font type and size, paragraph spacing. You know, don't try to make your resume look more than it is by using an 18 font. You know, let's keep it there. And we'll try to get some good stuff going here. 6:53. Nice video on how to
Hi,
make
I'm
a
gonna help you.
resume. Okay. It's 8.5-minute video. I will say here. Okay. So Joyce has already got hers done. She'll be sending it to me for long. Yep. Autumn as well. On a lot of this, YouTube is going to be your friend. Yes, ma'am. YouTube is going to be your friend. Okay, the book's your friend. YouTube is your friend. You can find out how to do everything on YouTube. I learned how to rebuild the carburetor on my motorcycle on YouTube. So there you go, Taisha. Okay, assignment 1, 2. So you're going to have actually 4 assignments due: the calendar and then 3 assignments. Looks like the first one for a lot of people are going to be easy with the resume. Stacy's HR, she might send me my own resume to me, tell me how bad it is. So I have to grade my own resume. How terrible would that be? Yes, absolutely use your own resume. I want to see yours. Honestly, just rebuilt his Honda from YouTube. I'm telling you that you can find anything on there. Assignment 1, 2. Along with word processing and formatting, Microsoft Word can be used to design a flyer, present business information, or creating an announcement. For this assignment, you must create a promotional flyer using Microsoft Word. There's also, video as well. You're going to need background color, image or clip art, 3 sizes, styles of fonts. Okay. Save the file as a document file. That is a Word file, and just submit it. Margins less than that's 0.5, so 1/2 inch. Does anybody know how to do margins? I'm sure they do. When I do my margins, I go to the print screen, and then I go to my margins here. And you can custom margins, or you can do something, there you go, 1/2 inch right there. Not going to print it, just going to back out of it. Oh, there is a resume assistant. It's been a long time since I actually did this. Resume assistant will help as well. The resume assistant used to be a little paper clip back in the day, though. You used to get them the little paper clip. Yeah. I'm trying to kind of work through this as we go. And then your last assignment. This is a fundraising event for a charity. You want to make a handout showing the numbers and totals each team collected. Have the number of teams here. It's a three column by 6 row. Okay. And the 3 columns are going to be your team, how much money you raised, and how many hours it took to raise it. Okay. And then there's 6 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The top row is going to be your title. Now, if anybody file, new, blank document, and then I'm going to go to, where is it always? I'm finding it. Insert. There's our table. Okay. And I can do what we say, just 3 rows by 6 columns. 4, 5, 6. There it is. You can stretch it, move it around, flip it, smack it, rub it down, whatever you got to do to make it work. So none of this is really intense or difficult, but we just want you to get used to working through that. This is one of those important things. Microsoft Office is one of those important things. when you go out a lot of times looking for a job, depending on what your profession is, what you're going into, a lot of times they want you to be able to communicate effectively via email, verbally. And so you have to work on your communication skills. They want you to be able to do basic math. And they want you to be able to do things in Microsoft Office. If you can get those three things down, then you can move into a lot of areas without, you know, too much muss or fuss. Because I figured out a long time ago that a college degree is always to get your foot in the door. And many times, many places, they don't care what your degree is in, unless you're in a specialized vocational degree, like what I'm say, paralegal or surge tech. But if you have some of these general degrees, like my first undergrad is in finance, they didn't care that what it was in. They just knew I had the ability to get a degree, and so I could move into a lot of different areas in a business. So this is a little more important than you think. I know I've been talking this whole hour. It's 6:59, so we're going to be cutting off here in a minute. In fact, any questions, concerns, anything we need to?
I have a quick
things you
question.
had- Okay, yes, ma'am.
Okay,
that?
so Autumn, Charity let me back before. I'm a hairstylist. Everything, my entire life is on this book. I block out everything 15 minutes at a time. She let me send in pictures of that instead of do the calendar that the document that you guys have.
Right. Negative, and because
Okay.
this is a I'm less worried about the content of your calendar. I mean, it has to be, you know, nice, but more that you have the ability to create a calendar in Microsoft Word, since this is the section
Okay.
we're in.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where I would explain that. Anyone else? Let me see, Taisha, I'm taking another computer class and we learned it. Excellent. Like I said, I taught this thing for 10 class similar to this for 10 years at OSU IT. It was a 16-week class, and it was really detailed, and we really got into it. I think even in Excel, we got into Gantt charts there towards the end. So, and stuff, you know, we won't get into here. So once again, anyone else have any questions? Jasmine said no. Anyone have any concerns? If you don't, that's fine. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and how I do this is I officially end class as close to 7 o'clock as I can. And if and I'll stop recording, but if you want to stay and you have questions or you want to talk to me off on the side, that's what I'm here for. And I can be here till about 7:30 doing that. So let me go ahead and stop the share and end the recording.